Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Match Minus One press conference of the match between Canada and El Salvador of the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Allow me to introduce to the main table Jesse Marsch and Jacob Shaffelburg of Canada. I remind you that for questions, you can raise your hand and introduce yourself with your name and media organization to the one you represent. The media that are present virtually can request a question by raising your hand, using the raise your hand button. We'll start with questions in the room. Matthew, go ahead.
Matthew Shea from TSN for both Shaffelburg and Jesse. Last year at the Copa America felt like a journey to the unknown. You were coach for the first time, and Shaff, you kind of introduced yourself really to the nation and the men's national team. It feels like there's a bit of a shift after the game against Curacao. Not only certainly in the media, Jesse, with everyone looking at what was going to happen with your potential suspension, but really the scrutiny on the team, from the substitutions to the way some of the plays were unfolding on the pitch. Are you guys ready for that next level of scrutiny in a competition that many consider you to be among the favorites? And Jacob, how is the team dealing with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a few bad games here and there. That's just how life is. I think everyone in the locker room knew that we were disappointed in ourselves after that one. But it's just about learning from what we can do better, and just kind of using that motivation that we felt after that game, and putting that into tomorrow against El Salvador.
Yeah, for me, there's a few variables here. We've created higher expectations from the performance of the team and from what our expectations are internally. Let's not be so hard on the team. I think it's been a pretty good year. And if you even go back 2 years, we hardly play games in Canada, right? Like you see U.S. and Mexico, which all these tournaments are almost like home tournaments for them, right? It's in the U.S. Copa America. It's in the U.S. Gold Cup. Every environment that Mexico in is clearly a pro-Mexico crowd. We played one tournament game in a Canada soil, and we win 6-0 and put a great performance together. If we played at home every match of every game that we ever played, I think you would see a lot bigger performances. But that being said, the performances have been really good. And that's what we're really building toward, what next summer can be. And we know how massive the home crowd will be for a World Cup. Like, this will be different than anything they've ever felt. And I think what we showed in Vancouver is it's not pressure for us. It's only support and more belief in what we're doing. And then, Curacao is, anytime you play a man-marking team, you guys have heard me say this before, it's not easy. And it's a specific kind of match plan that you have to put into place in order to be good on the day. We were good in the first 25 minutes. They hardly got over our half. We get the lead. Like, on a different day, things can go a little bit differently. But we let ourselves down in the second half. We've talked about it. We're going to learn from it. We're going to be better for it. And we're going to make sure that we don't have any more of those kind of performances and experiences, and that we understand at all moments exactly what games are, and that we're up for it and we're ready to meet the challenges and set the tone for how we want to play.
Christian Jack, one soccer question for you, Jesse. Under your tenure, when you think about games within 3 days, coming back from a setback, your team has done very well. You think about the Netherlands to France, Argentina to Uruguay in the Copa America, and then in the Nations League from Mexico to the United States. You got that chance again here. What is it about those performances in the second game that keeps you fresh about what you can expect in this game? And what is it about your team that is allowing them to be flexible and just turn the page quickly?
Yeah, I think in general it's the commitment of the group and the belief in what we're doing together. So even some of those that you mentioned, Christian, I appreciate how you describe it, but a lot of those even first performances, even if they were losses, weren't bad performances, right? They were just that we didn't win the game. I expect us to be ready for tomorrow. However, I expect El Salvador, this is a team that I really love to watch. Like, the passion they have, they fight for every inch on the pitch. They make their country proud with the kind of mentality that they play with and the commitment they have as a group. And I think we have our own reflection of that, and so when we're watching them either live in the stadium against Honduras or when we're scouting them over the last 3 months, there's been nothing but total appreciation and understanding that this will be a difficult game for us and we'll have to be at our best to find a way to get a win.
Peter Warren, Houston Chronicle. Jesse, this is the last 2 games Sal's been watching in a different place than you usually watch a game. How do you watch it differently or not watch differently when you're in a different place? And can you take anything you've learned from that onto the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always a different perspective when you're up high and you get more of a tactical view of what's going on. So even when I spoke to the team after the game, I had a much less emotional and more, I think, tactical version of what I thought happened and where I thought we let ourselves down. But you know, I'm ready to get back on the bench with you guys, Chef. You know, I'm ready to be there with the guys because this is the feeling that you love as a coach, is match day, being on the sidelines, being connected to your team, you know, trying to do everything you can to help them be successful and give them the ideas and the platform to go out and be who they are. And that will be the goal for tomorrow night.
Any sense of when that decision might come? Oh,
Sorry, one sec.
Matt, stop hogging the mic, man.
Hello, Coach. My name is Kevin from El Salvador, from Fútbol de Primera. Jacob, I really your words about El Salvador, because the coach of Honduras told the same, and we are very curious about our team. But I want to know, what do you think about this game from El Salvador? What do you expect? Because it's a different kind of game that you face against Curacao and Honduras.
Yep.
There are more strength players, fast players.
Yeah.
What do you expect? And Jacob, what do you know about El Salvador?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'm going to go first. Well, I would go even back to my time with the U.S. national team as a player and as a coach, and know that the mentality of the El Salvadorian national team has always been to fight for everything and to maximize everything of what their player pool is. And although it's a team that doesn't have I think they have a lot of good players. They don't have the high level players that are playing at big clubs in Europe, but nonetheless, I think their overall autonomy and their overall understanding of their identity and their commitment to that as a group, I think really defines what it means to be El Salvadorian, right? And I've been to El Salvador several times. I think the people there are very friendly, but are hardworking people that are very proud of their nation, and that's exactly how their team plays. You're right. They will present different kinds of challenges. I think that they like to be on the ball, and they have good players that are clever and sharp on the ball, and we'll have to make sure that we'll do a better job of pressing and making it difficult on them. They're very scrappy on set piece situations, and they fight for every loose ball, and we'll have to make sure that in that sense that we don't take that lightly, and that we are up for winning second balls, winning duels, not fouling too much, and making sure that set pieces that we use our size and athleticism to gain a big advantages. But yeah, again, overall, I think we have to have a really sharp mentality and a real respect for exactly what they are.
Matthew?
Well, wait, I don't know if Shaf wants to answer.
sure.
Don't take away from Shaf.
Well, Jesse kind of said everything that I would hope to say as well, but I've never played against El Salvador before, so it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of have that new challenge, playing against a new country. So I'm super excited, and of course we have a lot of respect for them, so it's going to be a good match, and we're all excited.
Matthew?
just the availability of Derek and Ali and Jonathan when you take a look.
All are ready to play.
And any expectation of when you might hear from CONCACAF today?
No, but the dialogue has been positive, and I think that more than anything, this has been a misunderstanding in some ways, and so I think we're all ready to move forward in a positive way. So we're supposed to get an indication today.
Jesse, Jacob, I'd like to ask you both about Ismail. Jacob, first to you. What's it like to play with Ismail? And obviously, what do you think is his ceiling and what he can bring to this team? And Jesse, for you, what are you working with him right now as you receive him back to camp after obviously being still a little bit away earlier? What is it that you want from him in this tournament?
Playing with him is amazing. Being a wide guy and having a central midfielder who can dribble as well as he can and beat a guy makes it way easier for me. It just creates a 2-on-1 right away. So to have an amazing player like that's a lot of fun, but more importantly, he's an amazing person. I think he's one of the nicest guys on the team. He'll always look out for you in every situation. So I kind of think about that stuff first. So he's just the best person, and I'm super happy with all the success he's had. Yeah,
he just had a 23rd birthday. I've been working with him a lot over the last year about maturity and discipline and understanding what high level football is. One of the things he said to me is, as I've been encouraging him in this ways, he played with Rabiot at Marseille. And Rabiot said to him, that was the change that I made in my career when I understood that I had to fulfill tactical roles and have discipline in the way I played within the match, is when I really started to establish myself as a professional. And so, we've been really trying to give him structure as to what it looks like to fit into the team in all different scenarios, but also freedom to be himself. I think he's that kind of player. He's a 6'8", but he has the mind of a 10, but the work rate of a 6'8". So, we're continuing to challenge him to really now meet the standard that we know that he should be at and that he can be at. And we thought Marsch was an incredible move in the right direction. I thought he had two really strong matches against both Mexico and US. And, and now in this tournament, as we're continuing to get moving forward, we're going to need him to understand his role, then be able to be the guy who's the aggressor in the midfield, the guy that can cover the ground, but then the guy that can also have solutions with the ball and help create things.
And just quickly, a quick follow-up if I can.
Sure.
Just on the third group game, in your experience of coaching and playing in tournament football, how important is that final group game in taking momentum into a knockout game?
Well, we're looking at it now as it's 4 elimination matches left. So we can't have anything but the best mentality and understanding of how difficult this match will be, and the matter of inches and sometimes centimeters on the pitch that will make the difference. It should be cooler, and we've adapted more to the heat, so I expect our group to be better adapted and more prepared for that part of things. And then it's about really understanding what El Salvador is going to present, how they're going to play, and where we can gain advantages and where we need to limit them.
We'll go to the virtual portion. Neil Davidson, go ahead, Neil.
Thank you, John. Neil Davidson from the Canadian Press. Jesse, you cited El Salvador's fight and commitment. Looking at the roster, almost all their players play their club football in El Salvador. I'm guessing that allows the national team to get together perhaps a bit more often. But do you see the fact that most are based in El Salvador, that helps their identity?
Look, it's very clear that they have a strong identity. I think I said this once before. In Germany, the word is Selbstverständlichkeit, and it means understanding oneself really well. And I like that. There's a lot of German words that are very complex. That one seems long, but that, I think, wraps up into an identity of what you're trying to create in football. Is you want to create a team where everything that they do is second nature. And that's what I feel like El Salvador has. They're very clear with who they are, with their commitment to each other on the pitch, with their mentality, with their work rate, everything. So, look, the fact that we've left it to this stage isn't ideal for us to win the group, but at the same time, I think what Christian just said, the last group phase, putting it on cruise control versus making sure that we're at in our top form going into knockouts, I think that's really important for us to now put a really good performance together against a team that's going to fight for everything.
We're going to finish with John Molinaro. John, go ahead.
Selbstverständlichkeit. Write that down, John.
John Molinaro, go ahead.
Oh, that was Neil. Neil that asked that. Neil, write that down.
I'll try to write it down too, Justin.
Good, John. Good.
From Molinaro from Sportsnet. I wanted to ask, Nathan Saliba, he only had 3 caps and 1 start prior to this tournament, but obviously he stepped up in a big way. What was it that you saw in him, Jesse, that gave you the confidence to give such a big responsibility to a player with limited international experience?
Well, I would fault my management of Nathan over the last year and say that I really believed in him from the moment I started watching him at Montreal, and the fact that we didn't bring him in for the first camp and then not for Copa, and then If I remember correctly, I think we brought him in for September, but not October and not November and not March or something like this. And I kept saying to him, like, look, you're going to be a big part of this and I believe in you. But just when you looked at the sixes position, we were very deep and I didn't feel like we should leave anyone off of those rosters. So I tried to get him to continue to believe that I was telling him the truth. I'm sure he doubted it at some times, but he has a really good combination of athleticism and intelligence, technical ability, tactical awareness, responsibility on the pitch, commitment to the game, ability to run and cover ground, aggressiveness, attacking, good eye for good attacking plays, a good eye for passing final plays, and now he's scored 2 goals in 3 matches. So if you just put the whole package of like what you want out of a 6 that plays in your midfield, I think he's pretty much shown that over the last month or 3 weeks. So I'm glad that he trusted me, even though I let him down a bunch of times. And I think the way that he's played has shown that I'd made some mistakes along the way.